Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, happy hump day. Thanks for joining us on this very chilly Wednesday morning as temperatures remain pretty well below average, Andrew. I know we'll be talking about that here in a moment, but the big thing that we've been kind of discussing in the newsroom, the potential for the, I don't want to say it, I don't want to jinx anything, the S word, the four-letter S word, snow.
Yes, snow. And, you know, the potential's there. It's not for everybody, so just kind of want to lead in with that. If you're tuning in kind of the first time you're looking at the forecast for the week, it's not a widespread event. So there are going to be a lot of people that don't get anything. But we can talk about here in a minute who has the best chance of seeing it. Right now, that's what we've got for you outside. This is a live look. Looks pretty calm out there. Over on Tybee Island, view of the lighthouse there. Been watching the channel this morning. Some boats going by, which is very still this morning. That offshore wind is preventing those waves, so looks nice. As we see the satellite and radar, there's nothing out there now. Pretty quiet weather will extend with us here over the next few days, so that is nice. As we look closer, the temperatures popping up on your screen, we're in the 40s, just now getting above your normal low for the morning. For a lot of our communities, but some perspective, warmer than yesterday. Yesterday was a very, very cold day. It was bone chilling. And today it's cold, but it's not as cold as what we just saw. So as we go into the afternoon, more of the 50s will be popping up, especially by 1, 2 o'clock, and we'll see more sunshine through the afternoon as well. So that's good news. As we look at your highs, the low to mid 50s, pretty widespread across the region. Again, about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. So a nice day outside. As we go forward, the mornings closer to freezing for Savannah for your Thursday, for your Friday. Afternoon highs still below average in the 50s, albeit a little bit warmer on Friday, closer to 60. Evening plans Friday, good to go. Probably in the 40s around sunset and thereafter. Another way to look at your lows, well, we come up there just a touch, but Saturday's a bit deceptive. Sunday, very cold, a record of 23 from 1977. That one's likely getting broken, calling that anyways, at least as of now, alerting you to that very cold air. Another way to look at your weekend, we've got that rain, snow potential. This setup different than the last couple of weekends. So what it looks like will happen is we get a little moisture first, and I'll show you some models in a minute. The moisture first, and then the cold air catches up to it and changes it then into the snow, whereas in the past it's kind of been flip-flopped. More of an evening chance for the snow itself, and then of course if it's freezing, it's not going to go anywhere overnight into Sunday. So let's talk about what we do know. Cold air, moisture, they move in this weekend. Right now, just I'd say a medium chance in the precip forecast. It's not great. That means room for change, right? Think about it in hurricane season. We say something 72 hours out or something of an event. Usually you got a little bit of wiggle, right? Same with these kind of systems. Pattern favors rain changing that into snow north of I-16, really to be more specific, north of the Savannah River. And then very, very cold Sunday morning. So let's dive into that. Precipitation through Sunday. Euro's pulling for less than an inch of snow. This is for Savannah. GFS, nothing. Right? So this is not a safe bet. It is a possibility we are communicating. We're not saying it's going to happen. We're saying it might happen. You can't speak in definitive terms with these systems. So let's take a look at what we have here. Cold-wise, we'll talk about the cold first, and then we'll get into the moisture. So no matter what, it will be cold on Sunday. 19, as mentioned, would be a new record for Savannah. You factor in the wind, and it's going to be feeling even colder. So the GFS, if you remember, the drier model, this is Saturday at 6 p.m., dry. So nothing really comes in here overnight there. This, again, Savannah River north. So if you live close to that, this is your best chance. Late Saturday into then Sunday, but it's out of here before sunrise. A glancing little skirt, if you will. That's not much. We're just alerting you to the chance for snow in the region. Euro, a little bit more aggressive, pulls that moisture further south. So we're looking earlier too. Notice this is Saturday afternoon for inland areas, pulling in that moisture into the evening. This could bring in, closer to half an inch to an inch of snow, a little bit more further north. So this is the Euro, which is a little more aggressive, traditionally a little bit better with winter systems. Once we get officially within 72 hours, we get a lot more data that we can dive into. Those shorter, more high-resolution models. These are the big ones. We don't usually show these for something that happens tomorrow or the next day. So this is kind of on the fringe of data we have, which, enough to pop on the chance for some snow. But notice by daybreak where these two do align is that we're dry. What falls, though, since it'll be freezing, will stay. That being said, it will be cold no matter what. Freezing temperatures, feeling like the single digits on Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and say like areas like Waycross and Jessup and St. Simons, you're really not going to get snow. It's just not going to dig that far deep south. At least that's what it looks like right now. So you're going to be cold no matter what. Areas like Estill or north of then Statesboro, you could be feeling like the single digits, but also have maybe a tiny bit of something on the ground. So we'll be watching that. Important to look at everything. Saturday, again, the temperature's kind of deceptive because we're going to be cooling down in the afternoon and evening. So that 43 could be a high that occurs in the morning. So I kind of debuted this trying to communicate it, put an arrow, meaning, hey, those temperatures are coming down, which is why the cold air then catches up to it and converts it then potentially into snow for northern areas. Hopefully that makes sense. One of those days where it kind of gets colder in the afternoon versus warms. Either way, it's very chilly there. You'll notice that Monday also is a first alert day. That is for wind chills in the teens. That's one of our thresholds. It's going to be in the teens again for the wind chills, especially important for students. Bus stop time, very cold. So a lot's going on. That's what we've got. Things will change. I'm not putting all my chips in on what we're showing now. It's kind of that first alert to potentials, and it's your baseline forecast, and we adjust from there.
And I should say, obviously snow, big buzzword, that gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But the low temperatures just as dangerous. If you are out, make sure you're bundled up. Make sure your kids are bundled up. There's a lot of shelters around the area in both the Low Country and Savannah that have expanded their hours because of the extreme dangerous cold. Yeah. And Andrew, thanks for joining us. We actually do have some reminders from the Savannah-Chatham County school system who are urging parents to have their kids dress warmly with the cold temperatures, especially, as Andrew just said, Monday morning. Those really low temperatures, because the extreme cold can be dangerous if students are not prepared for it. School leaders say they are ready for the cold temperatures once your kids do get to school. That includes running buses ahead of time so they start and operate properly in the low temperatures. The school district is also monitoring the building temperatures inside, checking heating systems to make sure everyone stays warm and toasty in the classroom. Well, we're going to continue with our top headlines here on WTOC Plus, as a recent arrest in Reidsville is raising concerns about civilian-led predator and how they may impact criminal cases. According to Reidsville police, a group called Predator Poachers arranged to meet a man at a local church, claiming he intended to meet a minor. Officers arrested 57-year-old Jerry Davis and charged him with felony exploitation offenses after finding graphic content on his phone. However, Chief Matt Lynn says the way evidence was gathered by the civilian group could jeopardize the prosecution.
You go through all this work and it looks really good on video, but at the end of the day, if they're throwing the cases out because they didn't do it the right way, then we haven't accomplished anything.
The case is moving forward only because an officer overheard incriminating statements before identifying herself as law enforcement. Davis remains in jail with bond denied. Turning now to some state news. Deadly encounters involving ICE agents in Minnesota are causing a heated debate inside the state capitol right here in Georgia. Niamani Watson with our sister station is in Atlanta with more on why lawmakers are now divided over immigration enforcement.
Democratic lawmakers are accusing ICE agents of overreach and say they are causing fear and chaos in communities. Meanwhile, Republican lawmakers are pushing back, saying they disagree. Some Democrats have proposed legislation and called on lawmakers to safeguard the rights to peaceful assembly. One proposed law would designate schools, hospitals, and churches as protected spaces during immigration enforcement. The discussion was first ignited after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis a few weeks ago, and fueled even further by the shooting of Alex Preddy during a confrontation with immigration officers last week. Both incidents were caught on camera. Still, some Republican lawmakers say law enforcement officers are being unfairly portrayed.
They are targeting children, they're targeting families, they're targeting citizens, they're targeting everybody. Without being able to assert our rights, we simply don't have them.
When you have people in positions like ours, in positions of leadership, that are, again, dehumanizing and demonizing a group of individuals, and when you create that type of environment, it leads to negative outcomes that are going to get people hurt.
Democratic lawmakers plan to hold a protest tomorrow at the state capitol. Meanwhile, Republican leaders say they do not plan to propose any changes to state law during this legislative session. Reporting from downtown Atlanta, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Turning now to health news out of South Carolina, where the measles outbreak is now the largest in U.S. history since the disease was declared eliminated 26 years ago. As of yesterday, the number of measles cases grew to 789, more than the Texas outbreak last year, which saw 762 cases. At least 12 people have been hospitalized. The spread of measles over the past year has left the U.S. at risk of losing its elimination status. The Pan American Health Organization could decide to revoke that status when it meets in a couple months in April. Well, Chatham County commissioners are gearing up for a key workshop in less than 30 minutes where they'll be focusing on two major local issues. The board will meet at 11:30 in the commission chambers at the Chatham County Administrative Building, where they'll discuss ongoing county-wide wastewater efforts, as well as rules for using golf carts and other low-speed propelled vehicles on multi-purpose lanes. The public is welcome to attend and listen in as leaders talk infrastructure and safety on shared paths in the county. Our Cam McCann will be at that meeting as well. He will have a recap coming up this evening. Well, yesterday marked Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Jewish leaders say that the lessons of that horrific period in time have never been more important. Political reporter Doug Reardon with our sister station is at the state capitol, where lawmakers have made sure to put Georgia's connection to the Holocaust front and center.
Well, this display has been here at the state capitol for a number of years now. It highlights the stories of both survivors and liberators as an important reminder as anti-Semitism rises nationwide.
For us, we hope that the Holocaust is a lesson, not just an event in history, but that it teaches so many lessons.
Rabbi Joseph Prass with the Bremen Jewish Museum and Cultural Center says there's never been a more important time to remember the harsh realities of the Holocaust.
People didn't ask questions. People didn't stand up to authoritarian regimes. That people didn't defend their neighbors when they could have. And that's really what led to the Holocaust.
6 million Jewish people were killed at the hands of the Nazi regime, and millions more in marginalized groups faced the same fate. A recent rise in anti-Semitism and denial about well-established Holocaust facts have given the day even more weight.
The Holocaust is one of the most documented events in history. We are surrounded by the pictures, yet people continue to deny and distort the facts.
But Rabbi Prass says there are only about 200 survivors and liberators left living in Georgia, a group that dwindles every year.
I hope I'm doing his story justice when I look at that.
Anita Stein's father, Henry Bernbray, escaped Germany at just 14 years old. He enlisted in the U.S. military as an interpreter and passed away just a few years ago.
My dad's that one, the second one. The glasses.
Anita and her siblings feel it's now their responsibility to share his story and the lessons he learned while living through that horrific period of time.
There's no better proof that it happened than hearing from a survivor. So yeah, it's our turn. It's our responsibility.
And there are technically two Holocaust Remembrance Days, one celebrated today and then Yom HaShoah, which this year will be observed on April 13th and 14th. At the state capitol, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Well, we have a WTOC update on a story we've been following about keeping Tybee Island's North Beach safe for families and visitors. Big wakes from cargo ships heading to and from Savannah create sudden surges that can wash away chairs, dig steep drop-offs in the sand, and pose a real danger to families with children. The city of Tybee is teaming up with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to get the hard data they need to tackle this issue. Researchers have sensors in the water and on the beach, plus cameras are mounted high in the dunes to track every ship, its speed, direction, type, and exactly how those wakes hit the shore. Research oceanographers say this will point the way to real solutions and ways to reduce those dangerous waves in the future. In sports news, Kevin Stefanski has made his first appearance as the Atlanta Falcons' new head coach, and now the real work is set to begin. Falcons fans hope Stefanski will bring more wins than he did at his previous stop with the Cleveland Browns. But Matt Ryan was quick to say that it's everything else about Stefanski that landed him this job. Philosophy, mission, staff building, quarterback experience, and yes, even the struggles along the way. Here's what the Falcons' new head coach had to say.
Smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. And I think it's something that's important, as all of us understand. Some of those tough moments are going to make us better. I'm so excited about what we're doing at the Atlanta Falcons in 2026 and what we're going to be about. And I know this, you're going to get the best version of me as we get going here. You're also going to get somebody that's going to grow every single day that I'm in this profession. Somebody that I'm going to push myself. I'm going to have a staff around me that's going to push me. And to our fans, I want them to know that we're going to put our heads down and we're going to work.
And finally, here on WTOC Plus, today marks a very special day for the National Museum of the Mighty 8th Air Force in Pooler. The museum is celebrating 84 years today since the charter for the 8th Air Force was created in Savannah. The 8th Air Force was created to cripple Hitler's war efforts and secure an Allied victory in World War II. So to mark the occasion, the museum is celebrating with $8 admission today, as well as an 8% discount in the museum store. Museums open right now until 5 p.m. today. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We'd like to thank you all for making us part of your morning. We'll be back in just about 40 minutes for the news at noon with Mike Sela. And in the meantime, you can always check our website for the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll now join Local News Live in progress.